Wow. Okay, first of all, you're getting your Oval episode review early this week. I'm trying to make up for last week. My bad, because I didn't post that episode review until a couple days ago. We're talking about episode 14, One Time. Guys, this was the best episode of the Oval so far. Please comment below if you agree or disagree, because I think this episode was phenomenal. There were a couple things I feel I'm a bit, you can call them nitpicks, but I feel like these are legitimate questions and what I call them complaints, but I'm dancing on the line of giving this episode a 10 out of 10. I enjoyed it thoroughly. I actually, if you saw my live streams on Instagram or on YouTube, I told you that I slept and I woke up like at 9:40. I'm like, crap, I'll catch the episode later. So I did around like 2 o'clock and it was great. So, wow. Okay, so before going any further, if you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button and the bell notification icon. I got an entire playlist of Oval, Sisters, Ruthless, Have and Have Not, If Loving You. Basically, a lot of playlists with numerous videos actually of all the shows I review. Also, hit the the thumbs up button. Let's try to go for 85 likes minimum on this video. Links to all my social media are in the description below. So, Kyle tries to calm Jean down because she's obviously freaking out over seeing a, body in the cart. And Kyle's like, look, this is a matter of national security. This was a Russian spy who tried to kill the president, but he's okay. What I need you to do, calm down. If you need to go home, go home. Look, I know I can't go home. I need this job. Wait, what did she say? Like, I can't go home. So it's like, okay, well, I don't need you to hold it together. It's like, don't be sick or nothing. Just go up to the bedroom. There's some red wine on the floor. I need you to clean up. Wait, was that really red wine or was it blood? I think it was, I forgot. But in any case, Kyle takes the cart to a vehicle outside. He puts the body in the trunk. Didn't he wrap up Denise's body in like a bed sheet or something? But then her head, he just kind of tossed in the back. And I'm thinking, damn, I hope he got some disinfectant or something, because the trunk of that vehicle is going to be funky when you got a dead body back there. And as Jean is cleaning the stains on the floor, she's trying her best to keep it together. And an older maid comes in there. I did not catch her name, but an older maid comes in. And Jean, again, trying to hold herself together, is like, oh, no, these are red wine stains. Like, oh, yeah, they're not going to come out of the floor. No, can you just leave? I got this. The family's coming back soon. I need you to handle the other room. She's like, okay. So then we go over to the police station. Okay, this is one of the things I didn't like. And again, Nancy really hasn't done much to make me like her character. Look, I know she's going through a lot. Look, Richard, his whole family going through a lot. And that's saying the minimum. But we got Sam, Barry, Nancy, and Richard. And I think before Barry comes out, Nancy's saying, like, that was one of my knives. And she doesn't think the police are trying to frame Barry at all, because Sam's like, well, we need to figure out what's up with the knife and the money. And then Richard's like, because Sam's like, look, you make sure you tell me, because you don't know those police. So it's almost like Nancy assumes the worst out of her son. That's not to say Barry has the best track record of being, a good son, a good person so far in this series. But damn, Nancy, don't you believe what would Barry have to do to make his mother think he would kill? Like, I get it, you protect, I'm not going to say I get it because I don't have children, but I can only imagine that you would do anything to protect your child. So I don't know, because even Richard brought up that point to Barry before. But in any case, Barry comes out and tells Sam he didn't know about the knife or money, but he's like, there could have been like $100,000 in there. But he mentioned that Picky told him Kareem was a drug dealer and Sharon was one of his, distribution people, basically a dealer in her own right. So the money might be his. We go over to Sharon, enjoying herself at the job. One of the customers comes up for her prescription, and Kareem comes up Yeah, wipes his mouth like, oh yeah, don't worry about it. You can pay us back next month because there was a discount for the customer that wasn't applied. It's like, oh yeah, let me fix that. My thing is this, Kareem, why didn't you just stay down there? Not saying that you should have just kept doing what you were doing, but let Sharon get her thoughts together, apply the discount, and leave. But it's like, oh no, I just had a good thing and I want you to have a good thing so you can have the medicine for free. Fix it back next month. Okay, whatever. So in any case, he makes a pass in terms of like, it was like fixing a broken faucet with my face. I'm like, "Rrr?" So yeah, Sharon puts a stop to it saying, look, maybe later, after we close, we shouldn't have done that. Okay, this is the thing about relationships that really just get me. I guess everybody has their own differences of micro cheating, what counts as cheating and what doesn't. I wouldn't know because Sharon wasn't doing anything. Kareem was the one. Either way, she's like, maybe after the store closes, we can do some later. But yeah, he's like, he grabs the microphone, the microphone over the speakers, like, oh, the store is closing in 15 minutes, y'all. And then we get to Sam bringing Richard, Barry, and Nancy home. Sam's working on getting Callie back. He has somebody on it. He tells Richard that he's been rehired. He should be hearing back from the White House soon. Richard's like, look, I don't know if I want to go back right now because everything going on with Barry and everything. And he makes a good point. I mean, even if he did go back to the job, he probably couldn't stay because there's so much going on right under his own roofs. And then, not to mention the drama at the White House. Plus, I would also be like, look, I ain't going back until that little girl apologizes to what she said and did it to my son. And did Barry ever get his phone back? I don't think he's ever gotten his phone back. Then let's see here. Okay, we got Jody coming up to the fence, checking in on Richard and the family, making sure everything's okay. She wanted to know who was being taken out of the house. Nancy will tell her later. Barry wants to go, talk with Kareem to drop the charges. Richard's like, no, son, I'm going with you, which is a good call. So Richard and Barry go all to the pharmacy, and what is it? He's like, hey, Nancy, you sure you're okay? And it's like, oh, yeah, I'm fine. Do you want some tea? No, but I know you want some. Like, what was that? Oh, no, I'll take some tea. Because basically, nobody's cleaned up the crime scene in the house, and, Richard didn't want Nancy to freak out. So Nancy said she'd go somewhere. But Victoria's talking with Jean to get out of the room because she's pissed off about the situation with her mother. And, Jean was just trying to clean up the mess, the red wine, so she left. Victoria, takes some pills, and then she goes to the closet. She hates all the clothes Lily picked out for her. And I believe she noticed some lipstick on the wine glass and put two and two together. It's like, dun, dun, dun. Someone's been sleeping in my bed. Yeah, I used a Goldilocks reference in my Ruthless video. Go watch it if you haven't done so. Then she rushes in to see Hunter in the Oval. Hunter props to Hunt. And look, I'm going to be giving props to people in this episode soon enough when I finish reviewing it. But Hunter's just, in shambles right now. And he doesn't give a damn because Victoria rushes in there, wants to start something because who was in my room? Well, who was in our bed? And basically, Hunter is about to lose his shit. And, Victoria's like, look, don't cause a scene because there's someone in the White House who's telling my parents everything. And then Hunter is like, look, I don't want this life anymore. One time, in reference to the title of the episode, we had sex once, you got pregnant, then your parents made me marry you and get involved in this political shit, and my life got thrown away. I'm done. But then it's like, no. She tries to calm him down. So here's a couple things I'm wondering. Victoria was really out of character. Here's what I mean by that. Usually she would not mince words. She would have thrown that glass upside of Hunter's head. But no. Either A, she is really afraid of her parents, or B, she doesn't want to give the mole. Remember that show on ABC, The Mole? Yeah, that was a good show. Basically, she doesn't want to give any more malicious or I guess you could say she doesn't want to give the person the leak. She doesn't want to give whoever this spy is any more material to give to her parents because she knows the more negative press that is handed over to her parents, the more likely they are to rain hell down on Hunter and Victoria. So for the sake of everything that they have so far, she's really trying to get Hunter to calm down. So he even goes on to say, you know what? Don't even worry about Denise anymore. And right before he can even say that, I'm not going to see her anymore, you're not going to see her anymore, before he was about to say that she's dead, Donald came in, Victoria left, and basically Hunter tells Donald the entire story. And then Donald reassures him, look, Kyle took the body. No, actually, Hunter tells Donald Kyle took the body. He calls Kyle. He'll be back in 20 minutes. And they sit there and wait. And then we get to, oh my gosh, quite possibly the best scene in the episode. We know Lily's still hot off of what happened last week with Donald finding out about him and Kyle from Bobby. She senses, her, what's the word? Her pervert senses were tingling. And Jason was in the hallway. She hears the bedroom door. She bursts into his room and tells his ass off. And I was here for all of it. It was amazing. Lily, MVP of the episode. And this was only one of her 2 scenes in this episode that just made her look great. So here's the one thing I'm kind of like, okay, really, Tyler Perry? She mentions the fact, you have a nice ass, but you ain't working with much in the front. Yeah, I can see why you're perverted. So tell me why she comments on his ass, and when she leaves, he closes the door and he's frustrated. Why do we get a clear view of his entire backside? It's like, for real, Tyler, for real, we doing this? But my gosh, I can't even. That was just amazing. All right. So then Victoria comes in and we got yet another standoff. Victoria's acting like she could talk shit. I'm sorry for the language, but guys, this was, man. Imagine if this show was on BET Plus instead of BET. No censorship. Oh my God. So basically, she's like, look, your clothes suck. I ain't wearing it. I don't need you anymore. Lily's like, you know what? Forget it. Because even Jason tried to pull a Gale's like, look, I can have you fired. Oh, no, don't you worry about it, because I'm about to do that my damn self. Man. So they have a standoff. Lily is about to leave. Victoria starts to, throw some more punches at her. And then she pulled a Wesley Snipes from Michael Jackson's Bad video. So what's up? I'm like, oh shit. I literally got out of my chair at least 3 times in this episode. I'm like, oh damn, this is getting real. But in any case, I thought the heels were coming off. I thought the earrings were coming off, but no. They had an exchange of words. She's like, look, no. What we're not going to do, you're not going to bully me because you're on insecurities. And she just threw in some real jabs, because she's like, oh yeah, those other designers, yeah, the ones who wouldn't take you because they felt like you would cheapen their clothing, because clothing and modeling and fashion, it isn't just about the clothes. The clothes are like an extension of what's inside, and what's inside of you is cold and wicked. And I'm like, urgh. Lily was not here to play a game. Lily just got that, I got a new job, so you ain't got to worry about firing me. I quit. It's like, when you roll up in your job because it's your last day because you already got approved to be somewhere else. I don't know what it is, but Lily was too through. She was not looking for any letters of recommendation. I will say that right now. So right before she's about to leave for like the second time, she's like, oh, so what is it like being married to a gay man? And then she flipped. Lily pulled a like season 1, season 2 off of Veronica. Back in the early days of the haves and the have-nots, like Veronica would be trash talking someone, but as soon as they like took a jab at them in reference to like your son being gay, Jeffrey, she would just shut up. That's exactly what Lily did, saying like, oh yeah, you need to get your little sick boy in there some help, because being perversion, being a pervert is like the first sign of a serial killer. And I'm like, damn. She left. When she's going down the hallway, she ain't got time for Donald. He's like, okay, fine, I'll talk to you later. And then he talks to Victoria because he needs to get something from the bedroom for Hunter, according to him. Victoria ain't gonna have it, but she wants to know, how come I didn't know my mother was coming? He's like, I'm not sure. Who's spilling this information to my parents? I'm not sure. And he's going to look into the source of the info dump, and he just leaves. So then we get a scene between Kyle and Max, and they about to square up on each other because he suspects that Kyle's the reason he got demoted, and he warns him. Sam comes in to break up a white guy fight, and basically wants to know from Kyle what happened in the bedroom and everything. Kyle won't say, and he's like, okay, you think you're playing games, huh? Kyle ain't making no friends. So then we go over to Kareem and Sharon, who wants her to stay with him, but she's like, no, I'll stay with my sister. And then she makes a confession about how nobody's ever made love to me the way you have. When I'm with Barry, I'm thinking about you. And it's like, oh, shit. And then they start kissing on the counter and then spreads open her legs. And I'm like, this is not sanitary, people. This is not sanitary. Y'all need Jesus. That's what you need. So then we go over to Donald and Hunter. Victoria wouldn't let him in the room. Hunter's like, no, we're going to go up there. Donald's like, no, let's just sit and wait. Kyle comes in and pretty much breaks down everything. Well, and by breakdown is like, oh, no, don't worry about it. Sir, let him know what's going on. Donald's like, just keep your eye on the local news tonight. Basically, Hunter wants to know what's going on, how Kyle pulled a Houdini, and he's like, don't worry about it, sir. It's been taken care of. And we get to Barry and Richard. They're on the way to the pharmacy. He needs to find Callie, and then Richard wants to tell the truth, and I'm like, Richard, no. But basically, he's like, Barry's like, I can't go to jail because he needs to find his daughter. And he's like, why can't anyone understand about how this is important? I'm glad he said that, because it was a good point, because he's like speeding. Richard's telling him, you need to calm down. You need to go talk to the pastor. You haven't been to church in a while, because you're going through a lot. I'm like, Richard, no offense. I think you're absolutely right, but everyone in your family needs to go to the church for, y'all need prayer. Trust me, I need some myself. But, he says, you know what, fine, I'll calm down. I'll try not to be as angry. They get to the pharmacy. He gets out of the vehicle, notices those two going at it, and then he drives the truck through the front. Look, I will admit, even though I'm not the biggest fan of Barry's acting, his facial expressions when he gets into the truck and Richard's like, the truck's in drive, I like that. That was good facial acting right there. So that's the end of the episode. But, okay. Shout out. The MVP of the episode, definitely Lily, for holding her own against Victoria and telling Jason's creepy ass everything that he needed to be told. That's amazing. Will he continue to creep on Jean? I don't know, but let me put it this way. Jean being freaked out by what she saw under that sheet, she'll probably pull a Lily and tell Jason off, so I don't know. So Lily, I will admit, MVP of the episode, because if you've been watching my reviews, I haven't been the biggest fan of her character arc in the series so far, but damn it, she brought her A game tonight. Secondly, gotta give props to Hunter, because I wouldn't say I haven't been the biggest fan of Hunter's character, but Hunter has just been kind of there watching porn, just doing what he wants, usually Denise, and then that's it. But in this case, I love the fact that we see a different side of Hunter. One who's coming off the ecstasy trip, the fact that his whore is dead and he was there and saw it. It's just so many good. I just like the subtle acting cues. Sometimes it's not about what you do and say, it's about your body language. I mean, I feel like we learn a lot more about these characters when they are in these vulnerable moments, as opposed to when they're screaming and fighting and having sex. So I do give props to Hunter in this episode as well. And also Victoria as well. That was great in her scenes. Like I said before, when I said she was out of character, it's just a side of her we don't usually see. It's like her level-headedness took precedence over her anger. Because again, she rolled into that oval ready to tell off Hunter. But it's like, look, before you cause a scene, we need to break this down. Somebody is leaking information. Because literally, look at all the other interactions between these two up to this point. It's always been violence first, resolution later. So, let's see here. Who else? Oh yeah, Jean as well. You know, her terror, that scream. Ah! I can't talk. I mean, my voice is kind of shot right now. I've been talking for a while. But her reaction to the body, I probably would have passed out. So she handled it way better than me. And it's like, I would have taking the day off would have been good, but like, I need this money, sir. I got bills. So that's a good point there. But let's see here. Let me double check my notes. And while I'm wrapping up, shout out to the patrons over on Patreon. Link to my Patreon in the description below, as well as PayPal if you want to donate to the channel. But yeah, I think that about does it. Also, a couple of things. Number one, how late is it in the day? Because remember, I mean, correct me if and guys, look, correct me if I'm wrong. I thought Victoria's mom went to lunch with Victoria and her grandkids. And then they were gone for maybe an hour or so and they came back to the White House. But yet we have Barry and Richard leaving their house to go to the pharmacy and it's like dark. So I did, quick research. The inauguration usually takes place January 20th. So we can assume the events of the Oval take place in late January, early February, just to kind of spitball there. So it's daylight. Wait, is it daylight savings time? I think so. Wait, what is it? Fall back. So it gets dark early. So is it like 6 o'clock or something already? That doesn't make any sense to me. But in any case, guys, I don't know why it's suddenly nighttime. Is it to move the plot along? That way within the next couple episodes, we're going to see the news report explaining what happened to Denise and whatnot. But in any case, yeah, I'm confused on that. Also, still not a fan, like I said before, of Nancy thinking Barry was the one that killed Ruth. That was one of my knives. I recognized the handle. And I'm like, well, I mean, the knife you were using to defend yourself and Callie, the Rakadushis took it. So, I don't know. Sharon probably has something to do with that death. That explains why she got the knife. I don't know. But I just don't like the fact that Nancy's so quick to assume the worst about her son. Oh yeah, kudos to Kyle not acting like a creep around Donald in this episode. That was pretty interesting. Even though we know in the preview he's going to be acting like a creep again next week. Yeah, I'm looking over the notes just trying to check what other questions. Guys, I really have no idea who killed. I do appreciate that y'all have enough faith in me that you keep asking, but I honestly, at this moment, I have no idea who killed Denise. I really don't. So I don't even know if I should do another video this week about who did it. I don't feel like this episode led us any closer to who did it. I mean, Hunter did try to tell Donald everything. Like, look, I was in the bathroom for I don't know how long I was gone, but I know I came out, half of her body was on the bed, the other half was on the ground. I don't know what happened. So, I don't know. But yeah, like I said, Lily and MVP, her acting was on point. Interesting how we didn't have Bobby or Gail in this episode, but yeah, this was great. So, like a new leaf for the haves and have-nots last year, or was it last year? I don't know. Maybe I'm tripping, but honestly, I did enjoy this episode. I'm going to give this episode a 10 out of 10. I feel like this was a great episode of The Oval. Definitely the best one we've gotten so far. Yes, I do have a couple nitpicks, but at the same time, it is what it is. I think this was a great episode. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Do you think a 10 out of 10 is too high? I feel like Lily just boosted this episode beyond a 10 because I finally give a damn about her story. So with that being said, shout out to the cast. Thanks for doing an amazing job. Hopefully the show continues to get better and better. So thanks so much to everyone tuning in. I know I'm saying this prematurely because I'm recording this now. I'm not going to edit till later. I'm going to get some sleep. It is almost 8:30 a.m. I just recorded this video, my Bruh episode review, my Ruthless episode review. I watched all the shows, and my Oval trailer breakdown. So I'm going to edit all these. You'll get 4 videos from me today. You already got a couple live streams, one on Instagram, one on YouTube. And with that being said, hopefully this video does numbers, and I'll talk to you all later.